Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. On this page, I talk about technology and money. If you're new here, welcome. Technology and money are two of my favorite topics. I'm glad you found the channel. If you're a returning subscriber, I'm glad you're back. I did want to take a moment before I get into today's topic and just thank all the new followers. Welcome. And then also the cash apps that folks have been sending. Your cash apps definitely keep the channel going. Also, thank you for liking the video. If you haven't liked the video or like previous videos, liking and sharing the video does two things. Number one, it helps this content reach more people. It helps it get out into the YouTube algorithm. And then number two, so if you find it helpful, it lets liking the video lets other people know that you find the content helpful, interesting, and engaging. And then number two, it encourages me to keep going and creating content that you all find helpful. And if you have not yet, please consider subscribing to the channel. All right, so today, y'all, I have a short topic, okay? Very brief topic, and this came out of an email because my contact information will be in the description box, so you can reach out if you have any questions or any ideas or suggestions for future videos. But the topic for today's video came from a question that I received for someone who has subscribed to the channel. They're currently working at the bedside, and in conversation with them, I realized I had not done a video on this, specifically on this topic. So today's topic is for nursing informatics, nurse informaticians, or folks interested, if you're a nurse interested in working in tech. And as I always say, when I say nurse, I'm talking about all types of nurses: registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, licensed vocational nurses, and certified nurses assistants. Okay, so today is 3 soft skills bedside nurses can develop now for success in a corporate environment, or for success in an office environment. So you often hear about, or I've done videos about, like, or other social media sites, like true technical skills that, or I've talked about in other videos, technical skills that you can develop, such as learning how to code or do SQL, or Microsoft Office Suite, or doing data analysis, data visualization. But today I want to talk about those soft skills, those skills that you don't necessarily get a degree in, okay, but will really serve you well as you're transitioning from the bedside into an office environment. Now, I did do a previous video on 3 soft skills that nurses currently use, that you, like, if you're a bedside nurse or a clinical nurse, 3 soft skills that you use as a clinical bedside nurse that serve you well. I'm going to talk about 3 soft skills that you can develop that will serve you well. So let me do a quick story time on my transition from the bedside into tech. I went straight from the bedside into tech. I worked at the bedside for 5 years. And if you don't know a bit of my story, I found out about nursing informatics, or nurses working in tech, just by happenstance. I was going back to school to become an oncology nurse practitioner. I had already completed 1 year of nurse practitioner school. I was getting ready to register for fall classes, and I just so happened to be in the School of Nursing building, and I just saw a flyer on a bulletin board amongst a ton of other flyers saying, "Hey nurses, do you want to work in computers, or do you want to learn more about technology as a registered nurse and the impact of technology in healthcare?" I didn't even know that being a nurse informatician or being a nurse working in tech was even possible. I found out about it very late in my career. I was already working as a nurse and had been working as a nurse for several years. So I went, as I said before, I changed my major to nursing informatics, and I came out of school. So when I graduated and went to working in an office environment at a technology company that I no longer work at, I had no experience working in an office environment. I didn't know like how to dress. just soft skills. Like I remember the day before starting my job in the office at this technology company, being at the mall and walking into a store and asking and telling one of the sales ladies, I start my first office job tomorrow. Can you help me find some clothes? Like I was really coming, all I had was like scrubs and street clothes and church clothes. Okay. So outside of just professional attire, just the soft skills and the things that you learn working in an office environment, or maybe I didn't have a mentor either. I had to learn as I go, right? I had to learn along the way. It was very much a trial by fire. So this video is to help those nurses who are coming from the bedside or a clinical environment. It's just some things that you can work on. I'm all about low hanging fruit, quick wins, things that you can do on your own that are like low or no cost that help prepare you for the next role. Okay, so I'm just going to give three soft skills, and I won't be before you long. Okay, I want to make this a quick video. Let me share my screen. So the first skill I want to talk about is emotional intelligence. Okay, let's see. Can y'all see that well? All right. So the first skill, soft skill, that a bedside or a clinical nurse can develop now for success in a corporate environment is emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? That's the ability to just know your own emotions, be able to identify them and regulate them, and also understanding that enough to how you respond and react to the emotions of others. Okay. So being able to regulate your responses in a business environment in a way that is professional, where you react professionally. A high emotional intelligence can help you build good relationships. So relationships with your customers. Are your customers nursing executives, physician executives, vendor companies, other technology companies, your coworkers? So a high or a really good level of emotional intelligence will help you reduce stress both on yourself and on your team and the people that you work with. It helps you manage conflict as well when you're working with with different people, and it also can help with your job satisfaction. So I'm going to share a couple of resources for each item that I talk about. I'm going to share a few resources. This first one is from Psych Central, okay? And it just talks about the benefits of emotional intelligence at work, okay? So it goes on to explain what emotional intelligence is, what I just talked about. Then it talks about what are people with high emotional intelligence like, and the role of it in your success. So I want to talk a little bit, I want to just hone in on additional benefits of having a high EQ in your office environment that you're working in, especially if you're coming from the bedside and this is your first office job, whether you are remote, hybrid, or in person. It helps you understand your coworkers, helps you know how to interact with them. It helps you how to adjust yourself to meet deadlines, depending on the type of work that you do as a nurse informatician, whether it is managing a project, being a project manager, building and providing reports to your customers, doing data analysis. It also helps you to take criticism well, and improve on that criticism with feedback and not take all criticism in a negative way. And it just helps improve your ability to navigate and work in a business environment. Now, when I talk about emotional intelligence and, regulating your emotions and how you respond to others, I'm not talking about, this is very different from folks who may be like inflammatory and intentionally set you up to fail or may do other negative things that sabotage you. This is different. Now, having a high level of emotional intelligence can help you manage those, but those other negative things is a little bit of a different topic. But just to get you started and know about a soft skill that will serve you well, the first one is emotional intelligence. And so here's an article. I'll be sure to leave a link to the article in the description box, but you can also Google this. There's videos out there on YouTube. There's videos out on LinkedIn Learning, Khan Academy, and other online other online learning resources that will tell you a little bit more about emotional intelligence and how to develop it for yourself. There's also books out there. There's whole books on this topic. So that's the first skill, okay? So the second skill, soft skill that bedside nurses can develop now or learn about now or work on now for success in a corporate or business environment. The second skill is influencing without authority. Okay. Influencing without authority. So influencing without authority in a nutshell is you may not be the one who is the primary decision maker or the one who has the funds or the ability to spend the funds or decide like what projects that your business, the company that you work for, or the business that you may have, or the work that you're doing in tech. You may not be the primary person to do that or control the money. However, you have the ability to influence the people who are the decision makers. Okay. So influencing without authority is the ability to influence others without having any power over them. So you don't have to be the CEO. You don't have to be the chief nurse officer or the CIO or the chief technology officer or a senior director. You don't even have to be the most senior person in a meeting or in a room to have influence. Okay. So this is a soft skill that will serve you very well. So I have an article here, a very short post here from Harvard Business School. And again, I'll leave a link to this one in the description box. And it talks about how to influence without authority in the workplace. But there's also videos, again, on online learning academies and also on YouTube. So the article talks about what are those, it explains like what it is. Like, for example, you're tasked with leading a project, but you're not like the official person or, the senior or C-suite executive. Okay. So it gives some tactics on how to influence without authority. So understanding what your position in the organization is, understanding the business or the company that you're working for, and understanding the structure. Who are those key people? Who are those people in key roles that you can build relationships with? Because I've talked about in previous videos, relationships and having positive, mutually beneficial relationships is really at the bottom line how you get your work done. It helps you get your work done. It helps those that you have good relationships with get the work done as well. Oh, and it even talks about relationships here. And then also a way to influence without authority is having expertise in the topic. So if you are a bedside nurse and you're in your first informatics position or your first tech experience, first tech position, you may not have the technical skills or experience yet, but you do have the clinical experience. And if you're a registered nurse and you have been hired to work in a technology organization, they're bringing you in there because of your clinical experience. I remember hearing from a CTO many years ago who also happened to be a registered nurse. She was working they were a startup then. They're well past being a startup, but she was the CTO of this technology company. And she told me that it is easier to teach a nurse how to work in technology than it is to teach a technology person how to be a registered nurse. So your expertise holds a lot of weight and it can take you very far, and it will serve you well to develop that soft skill of being able to influence without authority, not only in the workplace, but also maybe in professional organizations that you may be a part of, or even faith-based organizations or community organizations, or even working within your city or state. So that's the second soft skill. Okay. And the third and the final soft skill that will serve you very well for bedside nurses is a skill that you can develop now, even if you're in your current role, working at the bedside, in a clinical environment, in an ambulatory setting. The third skill is having the ability to read subtext and understand subtext in conversation. So what do I mean by that? Active listening, or what my mom used to say, listening for the quiet part that people don't say out loud. right? So take this into consideration. You may be in a meeting, and you may be in a meeting with your customers, your coworkers, or your bosses, and people may be discussing a project, and all you hear out loud are the positives, what's going well, or you may only hear the negative out loud and what's not going well. Having the ability to read or understand subtext in conversation is being able to understand those things that may not be vocalized, but you can tease out and bring to the forefront. Okay, so let's look at a resource for this last item here. So the last resource here is from Forbes, and it talks about how to listen for both subtext and context in a conversation. And it says to listen well, pay attention to nonverbal communication, that's the subtext, in addition to the words that the speaker is saying, that's the context. The underlying meaning the speaker reveals from the nonverbal cues can be powerful to help you learn more and connect more deeply. Some examples: an extended pause, a facial expression, vocal tone. Have you ever heard, it's not what you say, it's not what someone says, it's how they're saying it. So pointing out what you as the listener or the person who's talking isn't saying will help you sharpen your ability to understand the ability to read subtext in conversations. Or the easiest way that I can say it is my mom used to say, paying attention to the quiet part, paying attention to what isn't being said, like the quiet part out loud, right? So those are the three things, y'all. That's it. I had more, but I just wanted to start off with 3 and keep this a pretty short video. There are more soft skills that nurses, bedside nurses can develop for success in a clinical environment. Do you have any, right? Are there any soft skills that you use as a registered nurse or a nurse working in tech that has served you well in a corporate environment? Love to hear from you. I'll be sure to leave my contact information in the description. You can also leave a comment below. And yeah, y'all, that's it. I hope y'all have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.